Hello. I just wanted to make a video today. I'm gonna try to speak quite loudly, but I'm kind of shy. I'm gonna make sure I look into the camera. So I've been kind of wanting to make a YouTube channel since I was about 11 or 12. Although I have done some things, like I do actually have a YouTube channel right now. It's not to do with me, it's to do with me doing certain kind of activities. It's all to do with studying and like study with me and things like that, and they don't include my face or my life. So I decided to do this now. I wanted to do it because I have long COVID and I feel very lonely, and when I look up certain things like people who have long COVID at university or A-level students with long COVID, and I can't really find anything. It usually talks about COVID and how to cope with COVID, or just something kind of different entirely. And so I thought I like to watch some videos on TikTok of, I'm gonna put the woman's name. She's older than me, so not really in the same place in life, but I just kind of want to get through my day with this. And so I thought it would help people who are going through things like this, where you can't control your life and you feel very helpless and very like, what do I do? And even share what I'm doing or practicing to try and make things better. So first of all, I want to mention that currently I'm in France with my family. So my life is a bit different than how it would usually be. And to give you kind of a time frame of me being ill in my life, and basically, since I'll go through my illness first. So I actually got glandular fever last year in May, and it was a very bad case, and I was supposed to go to hospital, but there was no space in hospital. I didn't eat and I didn't drink to the point where, you know, I wasn't okay at all. And I was in bed for 3.5 weeks. I had all these lumps, these big lumps on my neck, and I had vertigo, and I had a lot of vomiting problems. And so I actually continued to have that vertigo for a bit after that, and so I have actually experienced vertigo before, and that whole summer was me basically trying to recover. I was trying to exercise again very slowly. I only really managed to be able to exercise once a week again in October, November, December. I'd say probably November. And so by then I was kind of trying to get into my normal life again, trying to balance studying, because unfortunately I was in year 12 last year in May, and we had mocks in June, and literally, well, the week and I was, like I said, I was ill for 3 weeks and a half, and literally the week I got better, about 2 or 3 days later was the start of my mocks. It was probably like the Friday I got better and the Monday was mocks. And so obviously I had mentioned like I can't really do this, and if you've ever done A-levels before you would know that usually, because it's only 2 years, or if you're not sure what A-levels is, it's like the last 2 years of school. It's like 16 to 18 usually. You only do 2 years. So the first year is very like content based. You just learn a lot of the content, and then about a month before your exam, like your mock exams in June, you start to kind of learn the exam techniques, like how to actually do the exam with the knowledge you've learned. So I missed every single part of that. I didn't get good grades, obviously. Because I did 4 A-levels at the start. We don't do AS level at my college, but I chose to do 4 because I couldn't choose, and I dropped 1 in year 13, and so I had to do 1 of them because they only had slots for me to do 3, because they have like a group of people who have to do them after, so they have to pick out different papers and things like that. But you only if you were doing that, you only had to do 3 mocks. So 1 of them I had to go in and do that on that Monday. I could only get out of bed, like actually stand up and have a shower that weekend, and so I didn't revise. It was French, which I am half French. That doesn't mean it's easy for me, because if you do A-level French, it's also very much based on literature, and things like grammar are really hard because I know the language. I actually did well in that one, but it was relatively easy. And then the other ones I didn't do very well in. They were a few weeks later, but I still wasn't feeling great. Like I said, I was in bed for 3.5 weeks like that's when I could get out of bed after, and I was not feeling good at all. I had post-viral fatigue, and so academically it impacted me a lot. And so I spent all that year, like end of year 12 till about December year 13, getting better. And then I went to before my birthday in mid-January, I went to go see my favourite band in concert with some friends. And right before that weekend was literally the end of the week of other mocks. It always happens when there's mocks, unfortunately. You only have 2 sets of mocks in the real exam, at my school, at least, at my college. And so right after that week where I was feeling ill, I got COVID, which I started to feel at the concert. So I very much doubt that I got it at the concert, but I just thought I was very tired and I was quite stressed. You know, we just had mocks and I still was trying to recover from post-viral fatigue. So obviously we went to a different city. We travelled like 4 or 5 hours by bus, got there, walked around the whole day, just got back and got changed, went straight to the concert, waited outside when it was like 5 degrees in dresses, and then went in, and then I felt ill. So yeah, I just presumed I was like tired or something like that. And then I got home thinking, you know, I'm gonna be tired from this because we travelled up on the Saturday and we got back on the Sunday evening and I had school the next day. But I thought, you know, it's my favourite band and whatever. And my friends also gave me some stuff for my birthday when we were there, which was really cool. And so I just presumed I was ill on the Sunday. So the concert was on Saturday, and that Sunday I was really ill. I did not eat or drink, really. I drank a bit of water. I ate a bit of breakfast. Sorry, I just got interrupted. I had a few pancakes for breakfast. I had like 2 very small pancakes, and then I didn't eat. Didn't really eat lunch. My friends were kind of like, they noticed, and I really love bubble tea. At that time they didn't have any in my area, so it was very much like a treat. I went to this massive bubble tea shop we were in Birmingham, and I didn't have anything, like genuinely, and I was like, I know something's wrong. I just, you know, since having glandular fever I had problems with my appetite. Like I feel like my stomach has shrunk a lot, and going to restaurants, things like that, is a struggle, and I feel quite embarrassed actually that I can't eat much. So I just thought it was that, and I think I have my period coming up, and sometimes it just, you know, my cycle, it goes a bit weird. So yeah, I just didn't really think much of it. I got home, slept, and then I was like, see, I'm really tired after that. I didn't stop, and I had my mock right before, I didn't have any rest after. But then it didn't go away, and then I did a COVID test, and I had COVID, and I was in bed for a week, so I missed school. And then it was my birthday. My birthday is the end of January. And I didn't really feel much better by then. I had a really horrible time at the party. I felt awful, and there were some problems, and I wasn't really mentally there to kind of solve them. And then I had problems with my asthma and eczema in about December, like the year before I got COVID. So they were all getting worse, but then suddenly my asthma got a lot worse, and I was seeing the asthma nurse at my doctor's. Yeah, so it got to a point where she, like, I tried everything that was available to normal, like, doctor, what they called surgeries. Yeah, so I'm currently being referred to the respiratory clinic, which is hard, you know, if you live in England, you know, like the NHS wait lists when you feel like you really need that. And so at the same time I was going to the doctors like every week, every 2 weeks, just figuring out my symptoms, because unfortunately I do actually have a GP. I technically have 2 GPs because they're both part-time, but I'd only met one of them literally right before leaving to come here, because my asthma nurse was like, wait, you haven't even met your GP. So I would constantly see different doctors, and they all would say different things. Like someone would say like, oh no, it's this or this. So I just thought, well, my asthma nurse, she's trying all these things and nothing's worked, and my mum's pretty convinced that I have long COVID, and she was also convinced that I had glandular fever before, and kind of convinced the doctor to do the test to do it. So my mum's quite, you know, it's kind of easy for someone else to observe you and kind of look at what's wrong with you instead of you kind of not realizing. It's hard to look after yourself in that way. And so I mentioned it to my asthma nurse, and she was like, you know, that actually could be that, because you have lung problems, and I can't figure out what it is. Like, they would do tests, like, I haven't had a chest x-ray, but they would do tests on my like chest, like little exercises, and kind of listening to if I was wheezing and stuff, and there was just kind of no signs of bad asthma, but I was just struggling, really struggling day to day. Like, even just walking upstairs, I had to now carry my asthma with me, like my inhaler with me everywhere. And so yeah, then there was started the conversation with long COVID, and luckily one of the first doctors I saw about specifically long COVID, like actually sat down and looked at every single symptom, and I had basically all of them, like looked at it, and he said it was either long COVID, depression, or stress. And I believe that those things came with what I was feeling, but in that November, December of 2022, before I got long COVID or long COVID, I was feeling a lot better. I had a very good like life balance and things like that, and I was studying enough, and things were going well, and I was very happy with my life then. And so I didn't think it was, you know, stress or depression. I mean, it's normal to be stressed as an A-level student, but a lot of the stress came from the part that I just struggled to live. Like, I would have to take naps in the afternoon for like 3 or 4 hours, and I had so much fatigue, and I don't want to list out the symptoms just because I have the symptoms of long COVID. And so yeah, basically I got referred to the long COVID clinic. Still haven't been. I don't know when that was, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I've had 9 blood tests in the last year and 2 months, testing for everything. They haven't found anything, which, by the way, usually they don't find anything for long COVID. The kind of what they test for is to make sure you don't have anything else. And I had an ECG, and I'm still waiting on the chest x-ray, because it turns out I was never actually on the list for a chest x-ray because there were problems with my like file, whatever they did, and so that really stressed me out. I'm technically diagnosed with it, like, kind of. I mean, I guess you can't really be, but I don't really know how it works, to be honest, but I know I haven't had the chest x-ray, but because of my situation, and especially I had exams, I had my A-levels, they diagnosed me. I have that on all my exams and stuff like that, so I went in different rooms by myself and did my exam by myself, and it was very hard because I had to kind of decide to myself, I want to do the best in my exams, obviously, and I don't really want to let COVID kind of destroy that. So I decided that every day I would study. Probably I did about 5 to 7 hours, including lessons sometimes, because obviously if I had 3 hours lessons in a day, I couldn't do 7 hours. I mean, some people could, it's completely your choice, but I would do probably 7 hours maximum, and with the days where I didn't really have many lessons, I would do about 5 hours in total. And I didn't really take many rest days. I would usually do it, so in the morning I would have a lot of, like, I would study, 10-15 minutes break, study, blah blah, and then have quite a long break in the afternoon, and then do like an hour and a half, and then it was dinner, and then I had the rest of the evening. So that really worked for me, except that I couldn't really see anyone, because my life was basically study, rest, study, rest, study, rest. That's the only way I could actually study, because I would have so much fatigue, and I would like, that's what it's called, a COVID crash. I would crash if I did other things. So that's really why I prioritized my life, and I felt like I did really well, actually, and I'm very happy. And I sent, emails to my teachers just telling them, by the way, I have this, so this might impact things, but I have that all sorted out. And yeah, so it was all very hard and kind of hard to adapt to, and do exams. It was all very hard to kind of come to terms with, because if you have long COVID, you probably know that it kind of affects all of your relationships, and obviously because I wasn't really spending time with people anymore, that didn't really work. But I had to prioritize myself in that moment, and so it's really impacted basically every relationship. It's also, my academic life, my future career, my day-to-day, like if I can exercise or not, my diet, like everything is kind of out of my control. And so I just wanted to make this to not only like show other people, because like I said, I can't find anyone really talking about this kind of stuff, but to also help me get through my days and things like that, and kind of show you what my life is like, and kind of, although I can't control a lot of it, I can control certain things, and so I do really want to. So I went to an osteopath. I don't know what they're called because I get one in France. Osteopath. It's basically someone who is not a chiropractor, but they kind of look at your bones and your muscles in like one. For my body, because I can't do exercise, things like that, you know, I've been attending like a mental health class thing every week, which I had this morning, and things like that. And you know, it kind of gets annoying when people are like, oh, exercise, do this, do that, or even when people, you know, are like, oh, why don't you just exercise, it'll make you feel better, blah blah blah. But you can't do that, because then you crash and then you feel even worse. So you have to do what you feel like you need to do, and for me that is yoga and meditation and stretching a bit, you know, kind of like this, trying to get my muscles stretching, working a little bit. But no, I would say don't run, don't do anything like that. Walk when you need to, like, and it feels awful because you want to do things, especially because you can't do them you want to, but it is hard. So I went to the osteopath, and basically I need to strengthen my muscles a bit, and like I said, well, she recommended yoga, so I'm gonna try and do that. I decided I want to do about 20 minutes a day, probably in the afternoon. My uncle's actually a yoga instructor, so I did a thing with him. It was about an hour and 20 minutes as well, and it was very nice because it wasn't physical yoga, it was more like kind of do some certain movements, but they're quite easy movements to do. So I'd recommend to anyone out there who kind of have that kind of stuff. I'm also taking anti-stress medicine, like get rid of vertigo medicine that I just got at the pharmacy in France. And I'm also trying to take as many vitamins as I can, just things like that. And trying to kind of have a healthy diet, which is very hard because especially when you lack energy and you're just lying around a lot of the day, you just want to eat sugar and carbs so badly. But try and eat some other things. What I would recommend for what works for me personally is that before I have a nice meal that I really like, I would eat salad. Salad I like is just very kind of plain. I think it's lettuce, I'm not 100% sure, but it's like a very basic leaf. Then I put like olives or cheese in it with a really nice sauce that I like, and I would recommend eating that and then getting onto the food you like. It's an easy way to implement that. And yeah, so I just kind of want to show you what my life is like, and how, if you're coping with long COVID, how, you know, to see someone who might be around your age going through it, or if you aren't, it's good to educate yourself, because a lot of people I know, when I tell them, they don't really know what long COVID is and don't really look up what it is, and so it leads to like people asking me like, oh, why aren't you okay, like what's wrong? And I'm like, well, I have long COVID, it's a long-term thing, you know. I don't know if I think it is a chronic illness, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm just waiting for support from a long COVID clinic, and I need someone to look at my whole body, but you know, I can't do anything until then, so I'm just here trying to do the best I can. And so a lot of my day consists of doing things sometimes. So for example, in not a long time, I'm going to be getting my hair cut, and perhaps go to the beach after that, which is already quite a lot for me to do. So at the beach, I don't actually really do anything. I have a book, and I've been trying to read 2 chapters a night of this specific book, so the chapters are quite long. So trying to do things like that, like maybe if you were like me, I struggle to read. I read maybe 4 books a year, but I do really love reading. I read a few pages and I'm like, okay, done, you know. So I'd recommend trying to get little like goals like that, maybe about stuff that you've kind of always struggled with, and work on that, because I feel like you can feel better about yourself. So yeah, that's what kind of is the plan for the afternoon, and then I will be resting. So most of the time I rest by watching videos or TV shows, things like that. And so this morning I had my little mental health like group, kind of, it's like a presentation thing where they go through different things and how you cope with different things. They did actually mention things like chronic fatigue, which is very good. And yeah, usually I wake up kind of late in the evenings, in the mornings I mean, about 11 o'clock, 10:30, not naturally. My mum has to come and wake me up, but she tries to wake me up still relatively, like it's not too late, but I do really struggle with falling asleep as well. So if you have any of that, you know, please please comment. And so tomorrow we're actually going somewhere. I can't remember what it's called, but I will be showing you. We're going to be going eventually to Saint Etienne. We're gonna drive somewhere, stay there, look around for like a day or two, and then drive to Saint Etienne. And I'm gonna film all of that, gonna show you when I'm struggling, because like, again, sometimes people can't tell you're struggling. Like, it's very invisible things. Like, you'll get invisible symptoms, and so I just want to show how this is going and how things kind of work for me, and especially things like university. Right now it's probably about 50-50 if I can go, because I'm quite scared because my mum has to look after me basically, and it's quite scary to think I'm going to be away from people who can look after me. But you know, there are disability and illness departments and doctors. You know, I'm gonna have to get a GP there, and hopefully find a long COVID clinic there if I do get in, because there's also results day coming up on the 17th of August. And so it's very stressful. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's about 50-50 whether I will go or not, if I get in. But I would like to try at least. So if I do end up doing that, I'm only filming all of that, and I might need to get a camera or something else I can film on, because my phone has almost no storage. I've been deleting so much stuff off of my Google Photos, downloading them onto another device. But now I've got these videos apparently are 5 gigabytes, and I was like, that's a lot. That is a lot. So yeah, this might take some time, but it gives me something to do, some kind of purpose, also to connect with people. Hopefully that's my purpose. I just kind of was like, I need to talk to people about this, and I can't really find places to talk to people, so I thought I would just make this. Hopefully some of you have been looking up like things on YouTube or TikTok, like dealing with long COVID, blah blah blah, and so I hope this can be this for you. And if you have any tips or anything that you found good, please comment them. And yeah, I think that's sort of really what to say for this one. This is kind of just like an introduction, and then I'm gonna start kind of vlogging and then talking about things if I have issues or any kind of long COVID or just life related things, so we can share them. So yeah, I think this is the end. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna rest in a second and, you know, go and delete all the videos off my phone. Yeah, unfortunately this is filmed on my phone. I don't have a camera or anything, but I might be able to, like, my mum has like, you know, a digital camera that might be easier to use, but then I'd have to like transfer all of that. Yeah, so thank you for watching. If you have long COVID, please comment just anything, if you want to, just to know that there are people out there who also have the same thing, or if you like my videos, whatever. I will be carrying these on. This is like a kind of a guarantee, and because I would usually do things, be like, oh no, I'll just do them, blah, 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 push them back, but I don't have much to do, and I do want to share my things, and I feel like I need to kind of talk to someone, and this is kind of someone, and it's just something I've always wanted to do, and I just kind of never found the right things to talk about, and I think this is a good thing, and not only for myself but for other people who may be watching, and to kind of go over what it's been like, and like what the future's going to be like at university. You know, I don't even know if I've gotten the A-level results I needed. That'll be because of long COVID, and I think if I take a gap year and then I redo my A-levels, how old would I be when I do my A-levels? Like 20? It's very scary, and just dealing with stuff like that. Yeah, so it's going to be like vlogs, like sit down, show you things, blah blah blah, to do with how I'm trying to live with it. I'm sorry about this background, it's a bit awful, but yeah, I might even like, I don't know, but I'm gonna try and do this. I'm gonna try and do this. I also need to buy tripods and things like that. The camera isn't really something I can just afford, especially when I'm going to university. But just anyone going to university with long COVID, you can get money from it. Like, you can get I don't know, like an allowance or something to do with it, or kind of grants, so please look into that, because I have been, and they do exist. Yeah, because I know it can be very hard, because you think about how you probably need to work when you go to uni to afford to live, and a lot of the kind of student jobs you can't do. Like, I would never be able to be a waitress, or like kind of customer service, or like in a shop where you have to walk around a lot, things like that, it just aren't possible. And so yeah, I'm gonna try and share this kind of stuff from a real perspective of mine, because I often like to put up a show for people. I might be filming my yoga, be like, okay, I like this one for long COVID, or how it impacted me, so you can kind of look at that too and give me tips and things like that. So that's kind of why I'm making this video. I just want to say thank you for watching. If there's anything you want me to include, or anything that maybe you've gone through long COVID that you want me to talk about, or me to kind of talk to, please say anything. And yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing now. So I don't think I have like an uploading schedule. Is kind of when I find the time, you know. But yeah, I don't have that much planned also because I can't. So this is actually kind of a hobby I can get into, where I feel like I am actually doing something with my life. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be filming some today and tomorrow and etc. for the next video, and I'm going to be editing this one now. So yeah, thank you for watching.